Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another garden walkthrough. It's hard to believe that it is, it's the 2nd of September. I can't believe that we're already in September. It's been a busy week for us. We had our kids go back to school and just trying to get back into that routine. And we've had lots of sports with soccer and football, so lots of running around. I'm pretty tired this morning. I just kind of rolled out of bed and came out here to film my weekly walkthrough, and I'm just kind of hiding behind the camera today and showing you the pretty garden since I am feeling so tired today, but that's okay. We have lots of pretty things to look at. Things are definitely transitioning between kind of summer into fall. Some things are fading, but some things are still looking really, really pretty. And it is like 55 degrees out here this morning. So I am thankful for the cooler weather, although we're about to get into another heat wave here this coming week. So that won't be so nice, but then it looks like it cools down again. But we're gonna get into the upper 90s, I think starting tomorrow through Thursday. And today I'm borrowing my husband's phone because my camera is not working on my phone, so I need to do something about that this week too. But let's just walk through and I'll show you what's looking pretty and what's kind of fading away for this early September garden walkthrough. I'm gonna start over here with my Tonto crepe myrtle. It's still looking really pretty, although it is starting to fade a little bit, but it will continue to put out blooms all through the fall, just not as prolific. But you can see it starts getting a little ratty looking on some of the branches, but there's still buds coming, like right here. These haven't even opened up yet, so we still have some buds to enjoy for the rest of the season. But I'm really enjoying this tree this season. It's on its third, I think it's its third season right now, and just really doing beautifully, really enjoying the shape of it this year. And I am really enjoying this side of my obelisk bed right now. You can see that I have some sunflowers coming. However, I do have to laugh because I've waited long and hard for these sunflowers, but they are not the variety that I thought I was planting. I thought I was planting the gold light variety. I think it was Pro-Cut Gold Light. And these, I believe, are, now I'm kind of forgetting the name of the gold. I'll put it up on the screen. The White Light, I think it is, Pro-Cut. So the one that I thought I was planting was the bright yellow variety with the yellow center. I did grow one earlier in the season. One made it through. But these are still very pretty, and the other thing is they're not nearly as tall and as big as the Gold Light one that I had grown. I was thinking they were going to get a little taller and thicker stems, and the Gold Light one had little baby offshoots all over it. So I'm not sure what happened here, and here is a sleeping bee. It's so cute. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. So some things just still aren't woken up yet. Isn't that so sweet? Oh, I love that. But I am super happy with this side of my obelisk. This is kind of what I had been going for both sides, is just this full kind of overflowing feel with the zinnias. I've got zinnias, lots of zinnias. I'm so happy about that. You know, I've fought hard for my zinnias. These are all, I think, the Lilliput mix in here on this side. Definitely like a smaller flower head than, put my smaller flower head than like a Benary's Giant or a State Fair. But I'm just really enjoying the layering with the Mystic Spires Blue Salvia, which is exploded. I really, really love this salvia. I wish that it had come back for me last year and that I didn't have to start with the small baby plants, because it does take them some time to kind of get going. But I don't know, I'm gonna leave them in the ground this year and just see how they do. Maybe they'll come back for me next year. They're marginal. They say that they're hardy down to zone 7, and I'm a 7A. So definitely on the colder side, but I would love it if they'd come back. My Melina Fleur Dalia is definitely my most prolific dahlia. It just keeps pumping out the blooms. You can see lots and lots of blooms coming. And then of course my lay meadow, which is definitely looking a little crispy brown right now. This is what happens later in the season. If you want to cut this one, you should cut it a little bit earlier. And I have trimmed mine back some of the blooms to promote new blooms, but this doesn't get a whole lot of sun right here, so I'm thinking that it may not produce any new blooms for the rest of the season. Just have one right there. We'll see. So I'm really loving this portion of my garden right now with the sun patience down there, and just kind of thinking about next year and some plans. I do have a jalapeno tucked right back in there too. I don't know if you can see that. Lots of jalapenos coming on this one. Just kind of thinking about what I want to do on this back wall especially. I'm really loving the layering of the zinnias and the salvia and the sunflower and the dahlia, and just thinking about some taller perennials or biennials to put along the back. Maybe a branching sunflower that gives me blooms throughout the season. I've thought of like foxglove or hollyhock. I would absolutely love a Belgian fence. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Some of you may watch Dig Plant Water Repeat, Janie's channel, which I love her channel, and she has this I think I'm forgetting what she calls it, but I think it's a Belgian fence or like a living diamond trellis along one of her walls on her old property. And I think that would just look so pretty back here. However, I'm a little concerned with the vinyl siding and how I would do that on the vinyl siding. And I don't know how I would get back in there through all of these other plants to maintain it, because those do have to be kind of trimmed on and maintained to keep that shape. And I also thought of maybe hanging some metal trellises, but again, I have the vinyl siding, so I don't know if I want to hang anything on the vinyl siding. So I'm just kind of trying to brainstorm different taller things that I can put along the back here. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to give me a little bit of input for that. But yeah, you can see the difference between the right side versus the left side. I think the right side just must get that much more sun to help it to kind of thrive a little bit better. These are some Benary's Giant zinnias coming in here that are just starting to kind of open up. And I have some anemones that were tucked back on both sides that I definitely didn't really plan for with the zinnias, but this one is showing some buds. This is the Fall in Love, I think it's Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone. I'll put the name up again. Some baby pumpkins starting to bud up a little bit. Jalapeno. Bunnies ate that one. This sunflower is not looking too happy. I don't know what happened there. And this one over here is struggling a little bit to keep up with the others. Lots of trial and error this year. Bee enjoying the salvia. They're all over the salvia all day long. And I have a few tomatoes coming. I picked, I think, 2 off this past week, but I have a few more coming. Just kind of fun to be able to grow something food-wise. I did pull out my baby cucumbers because they were getting really ratty. So I took those out this past week. And a little patch of my struggling zinnias down there. So let's come over to this other side, show you what's going on over here. I have a few dahlias. This is the HS8 single dahlia that are about to pop open. And really pretty colors on the Limelight Prime. Bright pinks. Very, very pretty. I'm gonna cut those sometime this fall. Save them to use in some winter arrangements. My line of Purple Pillar, Rose of Sharon, is still putting off lots and lots of blooms. Looking great. And we have a little patch of zinnias on the way here. Finally, this patch is starting to open up after being eaten down by rabbits many times. Herb pot overflowing. I'm gonna have to thin this out next year because this purple basil just wouldn't grow. I think it was just too crowded out in this pot, so I'll have to thin out that sage and thyme a little bit next year. I'm really enjoying my caramel heuchera that I've put in the past month. Beautiful fall color that adds. Goes great with any color. You can see that my black-eyed Susans are starting to fade a little bit. They're getting a little bit brown and just kind of fading away. I would really like to experiment with different rudbeckias right here. These are so pretty when they're blooming, but they do get really floppy, and I think it's just the Goldstrom, you know, typical black-eyed Susan variety. So I'd love to find, I put in the Denver daisies on my other side of the holly bed side. Some jalapenos coming here. And I don't know, I would just like to experiment with some sturdier varieties of rudbeckia that have some bigger flower heads and stronger stems that maybe don't flop over quite as much. Elephant ear is a little bit more floppy than it has been, but it's still going strong. So if you have any suggestions for some stronger stem rudbeckia that have some bigger flower heads, let me know. These raspberry ripple zinnias are such a winner this year. I'm I'm so glad I found 2 more packets of those at one of my local stores. They just keep going and going and going. They're so pretty. This is my Mystic Illusion Dalia that is slowing down a little bit in its blooming, and I've also noticed that it's getting a little bit wilted quicker, as well as my little lime hydrangea here. I've had to be giving these things water, and we are in a dry spell, I would say. It's not been super, super hot, but it's been very dry again. So you can see our grass is turning brown again, and look at all those dead patches. In a couple of weeks, we're going to aerate the lawn and put some new grass seed down to hopefully rejuvenate it a little bit. But we're definitely in another dry spell. So I've been having to give things a lot of extra water. Surely over this next week, a lot of water as it gets into the 90s again. My lamb's ear, Helen Bonstein. Love this plant. I can't wait to spread this around my gardens. And my coneflowers are fading away. I had some on the other side too, and I definitely need to rearrange them a little bit because the black-eyed Susans are taking them over, and I will have to thin out these black-eyed Susans next year too, so they don't completely take over everything. This patch of zinnias is definitely the biggest. It's so pretty. Goodness. Just love that. The buds on my Rose of Sharon haven't completely opened up yet because it's so early, but they kind of start off in this closed shape, and then as the sun comes out they open up to this beautiful kind of saucer like flower. This patch of zinnias is doing really well. Lots of buds on the way. I think that this is mostly the State Fair mix in here. I am getting a lot of orange and red in this patch, which is interesting. In the other Lilliput mix, I have a lot of pinks and purples. So hopefully some more pinks and purples come into bloom here. And I still have not gotten any blooms on this David Howard Dahlia back in here. I guess it just doesn't get enough sun, maybe. But hopefully by the end of the season, I'll have at least a couple. My foxglove are still doing well. I split them from a large container, so they look a little uneven, a little ratty, but the rabbits have left them alone, and they look like they are taking, rooting in. They're definitely putting on growth. I'm excited to see my Twombly's Red Sentinel maple, Japanese maple, put on its fall show. It's supposed to get really bright, vivid leaves, so I'm really excited for that. And I have some blooms on my wee white hydrangeas, which I just put in this year. They were looking ratty after I put them in, so I cut them back, and this one is doing the best. It's flushing out pretty white blooms. Oh, it looks like this one got eaten. Oh yeah. There's a bloom right there. I guess the rabbits got to that one. That's just since yesterday. This one is starting to flesh out a little bit. So definitely showing signs of fall coming as things kind of fade away, but still looking really pretty. Let's take a walk over to our shadier border and see what's going on over there. I forgot to show you our denim and lace Russian sage. Definitely a winter plant, still blooming prolifically, attracts so many bees. It's been blooming since probably the end of May and just in full sun, doesn't need any extra care. Definitely really love this plant so much. As we walk by my sunny border and we have our green giants lining the back here, our yard is just one big kind of loop. Very small 0.2 acre lot. We have a little bit of sun and a little bit of shade, a little bit of part sun. So it's kind of fun that we have such a small yard and such different growing conditions. Our patio area, deck over here. Walk you down to the back here. This is another obelisk bed that we have that is underneath these beautiful river birch trees in our neighbor's yard that give us some really nice shade back here. These are just a couple years old. We built them, and I have some clematis tucked in to eventually grow up these obelisks, but they have not been able to grow yet. We just put them in this year, the clematis, and the rabbits have eaten them off, but they're still working on putting out some nice healthy roots for next year. These impatiens have been a powerhouse all season long, just looking really, really pretty. Haven't fertilized these at all except for some osmocote at the beginning of the season when I planted them, and they just took off. 2 trays is all that this is. So definitely worth my money, I feel like. My Annabelle hydrangeas. These are looking really the best out of any of my hydrangeas for the foliage. I don't see any like black spotting or fungal type issues. The rabbits have thinned them out at the bottom, so they're not maybe as full looking as they could be, but just beautiful kind of limey green flower heads, and haven't really had much flopping. I do think that these trees help to protect them from the heaviest of rains, which keep them from flopping over too much. But they really have done well in this kind of, it's honestly mostly shade throughout the day with, a few hours of sun maybe. So I'm really happy about that. I was worried that they would be in too much shade. And you can see my clematis kind of peeking out there. Not too concerned about it. Next year I will put up some probably fishing line or twine or something on this obelisk to help it to climb up it better. But very, very happy with this just colorful river of impatiens back here. I will always use impatiens back here. I do plan to fill this out more with perennials and some more shrubs, but the impatiens are really just a nice filler until I can make that happen. I have a tiny blue mouse ears hosta right here, and I did have some beautiful brunera right in here that just died on me, which I was super sad about. I'll have to try them again next year. My hostas are still looking really nice, not too crispy. This is my elegans and the blue halcyon. The blue halcyon is definitely lost a little bit of its blue color as the season goes on. They can do that, but it's still looking good. My wee, which does look like, you know, they've been eaten a little bit by, I don't know, slugs or who knows, something. They're still looking decent. And my autumn brilliant serviceberry, the leaves are turning a little bit yellow. I'm a little concerned about it. I don't know if it's a sign of it's struggling a little bit because it's turning this kind of yellow orangey color already, but I'll have to keep an eye on that. These are autumn brilliance ferns down here, and some wildberry heuchera that is tucked in front of them. And kind of the same pattern back here. Of hosta. So we are debating on what to add along this fence line. I keep thinking some kind of smaller U to kind of create a hedge. I'm not sure, but it would be nice to kind of enclose this backside a little bit, especially from the circle behind me. Still kind of thinking on that. Just pan you around here. Our skip laurel hedge around our hot tub needs a little bit of a haircut. I think I might try to do that today. And walk you down here to this other side gate. Walking you in through our other side gate, past our incredible hydrangeas that are struggling. Hoping next year is a much better year for those. And we have this beautiful patch of zinnias. Oh my goodness. I am so enjoying this patch of zinnias right now. You know, if you watched other videos that I have fought for these as well, the rabbits, chipmunks did do a number on my plants at the beginning, but now they are looking so pretty. Oh my goodness. They just have really filled in. And they get lots of sun right here, so they are super happy. I have one white one tucked back in there. I don't ever remember having a white zinnia before in these mixes. So many colors. I think these are a lot of the Benary's Giant and let's see, I think some State Fair and some Cut and Come Again. I just love all the varying sizes and shapes, colors. So pretty. Lots of zinnias to cut and take inside. Going up to my mom's for a picnic tomorrow, so I might take her a bouquet as well. You can see these are the Denver daisies that I put in probably a week or two ago in their kind of temporary holding spot, so that in the spring next year I can arrange things kind of more where I want them. I'm just trying to collect some clearance plants that I find along the way. These were $1 a piece. So I'm just kind of sticking things in as I get them to hold them over the winter. Like these sedum that I actually propagated from some sedum I have on the other side of my house. And this white cone flower that I'm saving from the bunnies. So just trying to work on filling out this holly bed with some more perennials. I think I'll always have zinnias and a few, maybe some other annuals, but trying to make it into more of a perennial bed. Show you my blue ageratum. I just really love the blue ageratum along this border and how they kind of offset all the different colors of the zinnias. Still looking really nice. Definitely, as I've said before, keeping that in my garden for next year. Sweet Talker viburnum. And I do have delphinium coming. This is the third time that they've had to kind of rebound from rabbit damage. I finally, put the covers on them. I kept forgetting to do that, but I do have some sprouts on the way. So I'm happy to see that. Just back you up and give you one last look at the zinnias. And wrap up this tour for today. So thank you so much for sticking with me if you're still with me. I hope that you enjoy kind of this weekly update and walk through my gardens. It is amazing how things change within a week, how quickly things begin to transition or come into bloom, into their peak. I hope that everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, bye.